What's going on, guys? Johnny on the track back with another video. And no, it is not best bets and drivers to watch for. We're in an off week for NASCAR, so figured I'd just do some fun content. So with that, I wanted to do the 5 best and most disappointing seasons so far by either a driver or perhaps a team. Maybe that's a hint. Who knows? Maybe I'm just saying it could be a team and it's actually all drivers. Who knows? But wanted to do something fun. Figured, we can get you guys going in the comments of who you think has had the most disappointing season, who you think's had the best season. Maybe you could put in the most surprising season. I mean, there's a lot here, but I wanted to go with 5 best, 5 most disappointing so far in 2023. So and this is Cup Series only. Let's wanted to also put that out there. All right, so let's start. So we are gonna start with the 5 best seasons so far. Number 5 to me is a driver who I think a lot of people have been waiting for a while to really have that breakout season, right? We know he's good on dirt. We know he's good at super speedways. But when could he put it all together? And was it the right team for him to put it all together on? That's Ricky Stenhouse Jr., driver for JTG Darity Racing. He's your Daytona 500 winner. He's 14th in points overall, 5 top 10s so far, 2 top 5s. I think the right move here for JTG was to shrink their operations to a 1-car team. I do think that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is a playoff driver. I think he's a guy that if you put him in good, solid equipment, he can get the job done. He's beloved in the garage. Like, a lot of guys respect Ricky Stenhouse. And, he gets the name Ricky Spinhouse, right? Like, a lot of people see that. But I don't know. I think this year he has lived up to Ricky Stenhouse, Daytona 500 champ, 3-time NASCAR Cup Series winner, a guy that's 14th overall in points. That is who Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Has been this season. So number 5, RSJ. Number 4, I'm going to go with the team here. It's going to be RFK. Both cars right now are well inside the playoff cut. 11th and 12th in points. I actually think Chris Buescher is in front of Keselowski in total points. Just a really, really good, solid season. They've shown significant speed this year and have already led more laps this year than they did all of last year. Total of 6 top 5s, 13 top 10s as a team. I expect at this point, I said in my preseason playoff predictions that Brad Keselowski would lock himself back into the playoffs this year. I think that's a lock. I think at this point, you can look at RFK having both cars in the playoffs. If things kind of stay the way they are and we don't get a lot of funky new winners, even a guy like Bubba Wallace or an Alex Bowman winning, that would still keep these RFK cars into the playoffs. So right now, I like what I'm seeing for RFK. They're number 4. Number 3, it's the overall points leader. It's Martin Truex Jr., a guy that is coming off a really, really tough season. No wins, didn't make the playoffs. This year, he's got 3 wins if you count the Clash. He just dominated a road course, really no competition to that 19 team. This team just overall is on a tier. He's got a pole, which he's only had 2 in his whole time at JGR. He's already got a pole. He's got 5 top 5s this year, 8 top 10s. And like I said, reiterating the fact that he is the points leader with, I believe, 10 races to go. 10 or 12. I believe it's 10. But anyway, Martin Truex Jr. in great shape. I think he's a candidate to possibly get it done and win his 2nd Cup Series championship. I think that at this point, if you were to make that bet, I think you'd feel pretty good about that. So Martin Truex Jr., number 3. Number 2, and well, let me talk a little bit about why he is number 2 to me at this point. He's second in points. He's got 3 wins this year, tying his season total last year. He leads the series in top fives and top tens. His name is William Byron. He drives the number 24 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet. I think this is the year, right? This is the breakout year for Byron. But why is he number 2 on my list? Well, can he sustain this breakout year? That's been the question with William Byron. He had a really hot start last year, cooled off in the playoffs, cooled off really the whole second half of the season, and he was not the same guy that he was early in the season. William Byron this year, it seems like he's sustaining this, but we need to see it in the playoffs. We need to see William Byron lock himself into the 8. We need to see at this point, William Byron should be one of the 4 drivers remaining when it's all said and done. And we need to see that. We need to see that leap. Right now, this guy's been a first round playoff guy. He's made the playoffs, gets, eliminated either at round 1, and maybe he'll make that jump to round 2. No, William Byron, from what I've seen, he needs to be in that final 8, and he needs to, I think, be competing for a championship, because he is more than capable of doing that. This team is more than capable of doing that. So to me, I'm not going to put him at number 1 because I need to see sustained success for William Byron. My number 1 best season so far, it's the man who has activated the comeback season. That is Kyle Busch. 3 wins this year, tied for the most with William Byron in the series. He's got 1 at a super speedway, which we haven't seen out of Kyle Busch in a very, very long time. He's shown speed at super speedways, at road courses, 1.5 miles, short tracks. He's really shown speed everywhere. And he's tied for the league lead in top 10s and has a pole. So it's been just a really good all-around season for Kyle Busch. I know I put out on Twitter, right? Who do you think's had the most surprising season? I put that out last night. And a few people did come back and say Kyle Busch. To be honest, I'm not surprised here. I expected Kyle to have this sort of season. The biggest bet I locked in, right, when I did preseason bets was Kyle Busch over 1.5 wins. I thought that was an absolute lock. It was. It came early. It was a no stress bet. Happy to have placed that one because, I wasn't always the biggest Kyle Busch guy, but I'm really, really starting to be a big Kyle Busch supporter. So honestly, I never thought those words would be coming out of my mouth, but I'm happy for Kyle. I'm happy for that team. I'm happy for his family. I think for Kyle, this was a much needed move for him as a race car driver, and then just him personally, to be honest. It seems like he's a lot more happy, which I think, that goes a long way in a bunch of fronts, right? One on the track, one off the track. But anywho, Kyle Busch, number 1, the comeback season has been activated. All right. 5 most disappointing seasons so far. I think this is where a lot of people are, the comments are going to be coming in heavy on the most disappointing season so far. And I apologize. Maybe you can hear the rain. We got a big storm coming through right now, but that doesn't stop Johnny on the track. That's for sure. All right, here we go. Most disappointing. Number 5, it's a guy who made the playoffs last year, still a young driver. His name is Austin Cindric. He's only got 2 top 10s all year so far. Nice. There's the thunder. Great. Only 2 top 10s all year so far. And what really concerned me was we just went to Sonoma, where I would expect Austin Cindric to be a top 8 car. He showed no speed at all. That concerns me. 6 of the last 8 races, he's finished 25th or worse. Look, Austin, I have high hopes for you, man. I like you. I met you. You were a really nice guy. You're a super talented race car driver, but I expect more out of a Penske car. I expect more out of a Penske car. When it was Blaney, when it was Logano, and when it was that third guy, Keselowski, those guys were making the playoffs every year. And if you're in a Penske car, you are expected to make the playoffs every single year. And even being a third wheel at Penske, I still expect you to compete for a championship. Last year, I get it. You're a rookie. You kind of win the Daytona 500 to get yourself into the playoffs. But this is year 2. I was expecting a more consistent year, a year where he would be right around 15th, I would say, 15th, 16th in points. I believe he's 21st right now. And honestly, he's been like, he was around 16th. He's been dropping quickly in the points. His teammates have both won. They're both top 10 in points. Um, a lot of guys have had penalties in points. I expect Austin Cindric to be up higher. I really do. This hurts me to say because, like I said, I like him. I think he's super talented. But dude, I need more out of you. I need more out of you. I need to see more. If you want to drive that Penske 2 for a long time, you gotta be a guy that's locking in a lot of top tens and competing for a championship. The playoffs at the least, but then championship. If you want to drive a Penske for a while, it's championships. Number 4, Stewart Haas Racing. Eric's 26th in points. Priest is 25th in points. Those guys together, no top tens. They do have a pole. Priest got him a pole, but those two guys, actually, sorry. Let me say that again. Eric, 26 in points, just one top 10. Priest, 25th in points, no top 10s, one pole. I guess there's a plus there. Briscoe, 31st in points after a huge penalty, only 4 top 10s, and 3 of those came in a row. He hasn't had a top 10 in a very long time. And then you look at Harvick. Yes, he's been very consistent, but he doesn't have any wins. So this team in general, no wins. Then you take it the next step. You've got one guy undecided on his future. The other guy's retiring. And then you have 2 guys in Briscoe and Priest who I think a lot of people believe in, but have just had abysmal years. So then on that front, it's like, okay, well, we're losing possibly one guy, probably 2. And we've got, 2 guys that we believe in, but we haven't given them what they need to succeed. So the future doesn't look very bright. And then on top of that, you've got a guy or a team that has no speed on 1.5-mile tracks, which at this point is making up a lot of this series. So Stewart Haas Racing overall is just, they're not in a good spot. I like Priest. I love it. Well, I should say I love Eric. I love Priest. I really like Briscoe and Harvick. I mean, how can you not like Harvick, especially in his last year? So I like these guys. I like this team. I like the way it's assembled. Eric Almirola, as you guys know, is one of my favorite drivers. Priest, one of my favorite drivers. So it hurts me to see this team, not reach their potential, quite frankly. And it's weird because you look at a JTG. JTG's running well. They've got speed on 1.5 miles. You look at Trackhouse. They continue to have speed on 1.5 miles. And SHR, I mean, this is a big organization. It's weird to see them not have speed at tracks. It just is. I don't know what it is. I mean, I think we all know you can kind of put Harvick in anything and he'll find a way. He continues to do it. But you got to help some of these guys. You got to help a guy like Ryan Preece, a young guy who's super talented, a guy like Briscoe, another young guy, super talented. You need to help these guys. And quite frankly, they haven't. It's been super disappointing. So number 4. Number 3, the rookie. And I think more of this is just because I thought that I would see flashes of this guy, just something to give us a little bit of hope. No Gragson. I have no idea what is going on behind the wheel, of that 42. I don't know. I just don't know. He's got 2 finishes of 20th or better. That's it. No top 10s, only 2 finishes of 20th or better. He's 33rd in points behind Ty Dillon. You can put that behind both Spire cars, but behind Ty Dillon. And then the guy that is his rival, right? The other rookie, who, granted, much better car, much better team, but still a rookie, 18th in points, 4 top 10s, and has shown flashes where you say, you look at Ty Gibbs, right? And you've seen flash where you say, that can be a superstar in this league. That's a kid that, as time goes on in 3, 4, 5 years, that's a kid that can be competing for championships. No Gragson. I haven't seen anything that tells me this guy can succeed in the Cup Series. Now, let's put a little bit on the team. The team overall has not been good, but they were pretty good last year. I mean, Eric Jones won a race last year. He showed flashes, showed speed last year. Um, Even this year, I mean, you've seen a little something from Jones, right? At least he's got some top tens. No Gragson. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but he's not confident. He's ready to just pack it up and call this a season, which is very concerning if you're from an ownership standpoint. But again, another guy I like him. I really like Gragson. I think he's good for the sport. I think he's good for the league. Um, but I need something. I need something to just hang my hat on and say, okay, well, it's been a terrible year, but remember that run at Martinsville where he finished third? Like, where's that? I need something like that. And we haven't seen it. So Noah Gragson, for me, number 3 most disappointing season so far. Number 2, a guy I was super high on. He's right. He's in the SHR camp, Chase Briscoe. And I'll just reiterate it. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it because I said a lot about the organization. But from Briscoe's standpoint, 2 top 20s in the last 6 races. That's it. That's it. 31st in points, largely due to a penalty. But I mean, this is a guy that was in the playoffs last year, a guy that caused some noise in the playoffs. Only top 10s are on a short track and are on short tracks in a super speedway. No speed at all on mile and a halfs. Um, he's already in a must-win scenario. And what I thought at a track, I thought I'd see some speed out of him at Sonoma. Didn't have any speed there. You look at last year in the playoffs, in the last 7 races, 6 top 10s for Chase Briscoe. And it's just, I don't know what it is. They just have not clicked. Not much has changed, right? Between that team, Johnny Klossmeyer, not much has changed with the rules package, especially for mile and a halfs. They were showing speed on those at the end of last year. Something's changed. I don't know what it is. I thought it was the finger that Chase Briscoe broke, but I mean, that's kind of been dealt with, and we're still seeing the same results. So concerning to me, but I'm not going to give up on this kid. I like him. I think he's a really talented race car driver. We've seen the flashes, right? Gragson, we haven't seen the flashes, but Briscoe, we've seen the flashes. Like, he was really good at Martinsville. He had some speed late in runs at North Wilkesboro. He was really good at Bristol Dirt, had a shot to win that thing. So we've seen the flashes, but like, where's the consistency? I don't know. I'm a little concerned, but like I said, I'm not going to give up on this kid. And then finally, number 1, here's where I think a lot of people are going to come in the comments and say, what the hell are you talking about, Johnny? What is that crap? Chase Elliott, to me, most disappointing season so far. Have the results been good when he's been on the track? Sure. Yeah, they've been pretty good. The guy's missed 7 races due to suspension and injury. I know the bulk of that was injury, but if you're missing time due to an injury, you better not pile it on with a suspension. He's already in a must-win scenario. He sits 27th in points. His other teammates, Byron and Larson, combined for 5 wins. And I think overall they've been a lot faster than him at most racetracks. Again, results have been solid for Chase. Not really concerned with the results, but there hasn't been really a race yet where you say, like, okay, Chase was one of the 3 best cars, and I thought he could have won that race. Sonoma, he had a good car. He showed flashes, but a lot of, like, he led some laps, but it was more based on a strategy, trying to draw a caution and trying to stay out and get track position. Had a good run at Sonoma, but again, I look at Truex, better car. Michael McDowell, better car. Chris Buescher, better car. Denny Hamlin, while he was running, better car. Maybe even you could throw Larson in that mix. Maybe Larson had a little bit of a better car. Byron at the end of the race. So interesting. It's an interesting spot we see Chase Elliott find himself in. Now, I think he's more than capable of going out and winning, 2-3 races before the playoffs even starts. But at this point, I think even Chase would tell you it's been disappointing. I don't like to miss. races in general, right? One for injury, and then on top of that, suspension. I don't like to do that. I don't like to sit 27th in points. But he's got to find a way out of it. I think he can. I'm still confident he's going to lock himself into the playoffs. But ladies and gentlemen, it's been disappointing. Chase Elliott fans, just own up to it. Look yourselves in the mirror and say, all right, yeah, it's been disappointing, and we can agree on that. So there it is. All right, let's go through them quick. Best so far: Ricky Stenhouse Jr., RFK, Martin Truex Jr., William Byron, Kyle Busch. Most disappointing: Cindric, SHR, Gragson, Chase Briscoe, Chase Elliott. There's a list. Want to know what you guys think? Come on, rile me up. Rile me up in the comments. Let me see what you guys are thinking. Like this video, please. It helps the channel. YouTube's making some changes. So, if you are watching this first time, you're a first-time listener, first-time viewer, please subscribe, because I'm getting close to 500 subscribers. And with the new YouTube changes, that's all you're going to need to finally, be able to monetize the channel. So it would really go a long way. Like this video, share it, subscribe. And of course, like I said, let's hear the hot takes in the comments. Thanks, guys, for watching. Hang in there. NASCAR is back in one more week. All right. Bye.